Hi everyone, how you doing today? It's been a long time since I've done a walk and talk, so it's time to do one now. So this is Old Dad at Old Dad Discovers. It's early in the morning, and sometimes you just gotta get an early morning walk in. Maintain health, and walking is a big part of that. I should probably get some walking done after dinner as well, because from different studies and different talks, people have said that the walk after dinner will help to burn off the food and stay healthy. So your body can not just relax, but will burn up the food intake. But anyways, yeah, I had a great trip, obviously, to Melbourne, which was very insightful. Got to connect with colleagues, meet new colleagues, and that was really a lot of fun. And I hope to do that on a yearly basis. So maybe make the trip again. John, hi. Đang quay video à? Gentleman that is in the building, just said hi to, and he plays pickleball. So that's a sport that I've gravitated to recently. I had a injury quite a few months ago, but now I think I'm at 90% recovered. So I had a issue with a tear in my plantar fasciitis, or the arch of my foot. But I feel like I'm probably 90% there, getting back into the swing of things and able to move again laterally, but being really cautious. So definitely stretching before I play. I think at this age, it's very easy to injure yourself when you push too hard, and I can't seem to play a sport and take it easy. The competition brings out, I guess, the aggression and the desire to win. So, but it's all good. It's a lot of fun, um, building like a small community of pickleballers in the apartment complex that I live in. And the court isn't very good. It's not regulation, but good enough to practice it. And maybe at some point when I get better at it, then maybe I'll go try and play at a nicer official pickleball court, and maybe even compete. That would be kind of fun. I think, especially if maybe doing it at a, doing socials and stuff and meeting new people. Because the nice thing about pickleball is it's not just a exercise or a competitive sport, but it's very social, and I like that aspect of it. It's very community building, which I'm in big favor of, especially being a teacher. And I know that at RMIT, the university that I teach at, I believe there's a pickleball club. So maybe at some point I'll join and play with the students. But not sure if I can keep up with them. But I think being a tennis player before, like in high school, it's a pretty easy transition to playing pickleball, being a racket sport. But obviously the strategy is very different. Um, there's a lot of side to side. There is a lot of side to side in tennis, but here it's very quick movements, side to side. And then there's also, I would say, a lot more touch that you need in pickleball, because it's not always about power, but it's about placing the ball in the right place and using the right angles. And you're very dependent on your partner as well, because it's such a small court and you have to be somewhat in unison with each other to be effective. So, and plus the ball being kind of like that, kind of like a wiffle ball. There's a lot of spin involved. There's a lot of crazy spins involved, and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce as you anticipate. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things. So I gotta pace myself, especially with a injury to the arch of my foot. I think it's very easy to re-tear. So I've got to make sure that I do my due diligence in terms of stretching out. Because an injury at this point, being my age, it's really takes a lot longer to heal from than when you're younger. So it's quite a bit of an adjustment. It's a very busy morning. Everybody's going to work. But fortunately, I don't have class today, so I had a very good class last night. Had a guest speaker come in, a friend, a producer from Hollywood, and he gave a really rousing talk to the students, gave away gifts at the end. And that's very valuable, for students to hear from somebody who's in the industry, sharing about his experience, sharing about how things work in Hollywood, the structure, how projects are greenlit, what it means to be a producer and what type of a producer and what type of a role they play in the whole scheme of things, the whole Hollywood ecosystem. Differentiating between an executive producer, a development producer, and then a producer who's on set. So very good knowledge transfer to the students. And then he also stayed to the end of the class, or beyond the end of class, to give feedback on student concepts. And so he was very impressed with the students. And, I am too. They obviously took the initiative to reach out and share their ideas, take feedback, and hopefully make improvements on their stories and their screenplays. Because at the end of the day, they're going to go out and hopefully produce them. So they need to start with a very solid foundation. And that's a really good screenplay first, before they can realize it in production. So, very good, and this Thursday, I'm also bringing in the film appreciation class that I teach, some two young producers who are making a name for themselves, and they will join me in the film appreciation class and share about their experience, and hopefully the film students or the students who are interested in film will network with them and build relationships. And those could turn into opportunities in the future for all involved. I think it's an exciting time to be in Vietnam, to be in the film industry, because it's an area of growth. And if a film here can do well locally in the local box office and be able to then, you know, go on overseas and get distribution overseas and do well there, then who knows, maybe that will put Vietnamese films on the international map, which will elevate Vietnamese films to another level. And that's possible. But I think it starts with a great story, and then obviously technical and aesthetic execution. And hopefully that will result in either awards or box office or both. That's kind of the dream. And I hope myself to, after I finish my PhD, to get back at it and maybe make one or two more films and maybe then hang up the shoes. We'll see. You know, there are filmmakers that work well into their 80s, so who knows, right? Everybody progresses at different speeds, and also sometimes later in life. And I'm hoping to be part of that category. But I've enjoyed being an academic too, and I still enjoy it, and will always continue to be an academic, and to work with young people in realizing their dreams and telling stories about what they want to. And for the most part, my students are Vietnamese, so hopefully they tell stories about Vietnamese people. And so if I'm not able to do it, or I can't do it all, then they're out there telling stories about Vietnamese people and sharing about Vietnamese culture. And hopefully then, through this sharing, we can then connect with others. Because at the end of the day, we want to tell stories that don't only resonate locally, but have universal themes that people all across the world can also appreciate. So, yeah, exciting times in Vietnam. Make sure I don't get hit by a car or a motorbike. So the whole thing with being successful and enjoying life is to make sure that I stay healthy. And getting into an accident or injury or not being of good health would impact that. So again, making sure you're of sound body and mind, hence the walking, hence the talking, to make sure that I stay healthy. And I know that I've made an aim of getting a six-pack in 6 months, but that's looking a bit dire in terms of achievement because I've just been so busy. So on top of the teaching, I'm also managing the film program, obviously managing a family, a young family, and also managing my PhD, which now has to go to the forefront because the time that I have to do it is limited, and that I've got to get it done by a certain time. So I've got to make sure that I remain focused on that. But the only way to remain focused on that is to make sure that I'm of sound mind and body. And sometimes that gets challenging when there's so much on your plate. So gotta remain active and can't shut that down and just write, which I have to do. But again, getting the exercise in, playing pickleball, that seems to be the sport of choice at the moment. But I'd also like to get in maybe some, obviously more walking, and then also running, or maybe swimming, because running can be very taxing on the joints, and I don't want to injure myself. So maybe doing the walking and then swimming will probably be better for me, just to get in the cardio. So I'll still aim for, I've got just over a month and a half left to start to see something with regards to a six-pack. If not, then oh well, I'll just continue to do it. I can honestly say that I'm healthier, so that at the end of the day is the most important. And if I don't achieve it in 6 months, then we'll say a year. And if I don't achieve it, I will at least stay super fit and healthy, just trying to reach it. So I think at my age, maybe a six-pack is unrealistic. As the metabolism slows down as you get older, but I feel a lot healthier, and I feel a lot happier. So I have to say that as well. So it's not just about feeling healthy, but you got to be happy. And the activity has been very positive for my mind and my body and my soul, and it has allowed me to do things that I probably wouldn't normally do, right? So it's allowed me to get involved with the community in terms of the social aspects of playing pickleball, and then connect with people, learn about them, and then share, my story with them. And yeah, so it's really been fantastic for community building. But it's also working out and staying fit is also something I do regularly with my wife. So that connection has really been really good. And so doing things together as a couple, I think is very important as well, in terms of relationship and in terms of, if we're fit together and we're happy doing it together, then that's obviously good for the kids to see their parents doing activities that are healthy. And since we're pursuing this together, my wife has also been very good at cooking very healthy. So it's not just doing the activities, but it's also eating healthy. So all those things are coming together, and it's been I would say, a solid couple of years of really good eating and staying in shape and making small but constant improvements. And I think I'm putting a lot more focus on at my age, muscle retention. So not losing muscle, but hopefully gaining muscle, um, and especially in the legs. This is the first time I've seen this. Is this what is this from? This is from that Korean film, right? Huh. Why is it here on display? That looks kind of scary to have as a centerpiece of an apartment building. Is that? I guess it must be the character from Squid Games. Honestly, say I haven't watched it, but it was a phenomenon. So maybe I should at some point. Yeah, but big Korean community here in Fumihung. Used to be District 7, but now it's just a ward. So I guess it's, which ward is it now? Geez, used to be Tung Fu ward. But what is it? What is it now? Tung Mi? I think now it's Tung Mi. So they've very recently removed all the districts and consolidated them into larger wards. And all these wards are part of Ho Chi Minh City. I would say Phu My Hung now is one of the nicer wards in Ho Chi Minh City. So places to walk, which is important. You know, walking paths that aren't overtaken by motorbikes, and there's obviously a lot of laws to keep the walkways clear so that people can actually walk. Difficult in the center of the city, and people are trying to abide by the law, but sometimes in doing so, the congestion is just crazy. And so even like if you're riding a motorbike on the street and the streets get congested because the streets aren't big enough to handle cars, trucks, and motorbikes, then people are generally stuck in gridlock and being exposed to all of the fumes of, you know, put out by cars and motorbikes, which is terrible. So hence I've had to resort to taking a Grab taxi and electric vehicles so that I'm not exposed, you know, on the street to all of the, I guess, exhaust, carbon monoxide exhaust from motorbikes at street corners. And then going into work smelling like, you know, I walked out of a, you know, a auto body or, you know, a mechanic. Because then you just smell like all the fumes from the motorbikes. And then plus it's the rainy season still, so I'm always fearful of riding back home from the university and then just getting drenched and stuck in flooded streets on occasions and getting my shoes damp and also just getting drenched. So that's why it's best to just live fairly near where you work. And I think the Grab or the ride sharing apps are pretty good here so that you can get a ride for fairly cheap, affordable, and be able to get to work smelling good and feeling good and knowing that you're going to be safe as well, because nowadays it can get pretty hairy on the road. And then on top of that, you know, if you sometimes don't pay attention, sometimes you're caught maybe between a green light and a red light, you can get ticketed, which is the price for that is pretty hefty. And you know, you never go in with the intention to break any rules or break any laws, but sometimes you're maybe daydreaming, your mind is drifting off and you're not paying attention, and to get a ticket nowadays you might as well should have just taken a Grab, and then you could read news or listen to news on the way into work and have a much more relaxed experience than being stressed out riding a motorbike. Yeah. So I just wanted to do this walk and talk today to kind of give you an update on where I'm at. Again, most of the attention for me needs to be focused on completing my PhD, so writing the dissertation. But it's early in the morning and I needed to get this walk in to feel good about myself before I sit down in front of a computer all day to then work. And I'm excited to share with you that the next video likely that I'll do will be, I may do one more video just to give you an update on my my fantasy football team. Over the last 2 weeks, the last thing I think I talked about was before the week 8 game, and now we're post week 9, and I went 500, so a win and a loss, so a bit of a wash. And my teams are still in the hunt. So far survived some injuries, so that's good, but not feeling great about the teams. Maybe I gotta do a trade to rebalance things, as I need a little bit more help in some areas, like the running back room, to make it through the end of the season. But the other exciting news is I'll be going to Singapore this upcoming weekend to appear and represent Vietnam screenwriters on a screenwriting panel as part of the Storytellers of the Mekong short film showcase, where there will be a producer's talk, a screenwriter's talk, and then a showcase of short films from Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. I'll be meeting 2 former students, or 2 RMIT alumni. One is a digital media alumni who I taught, and she's organizing the event because she happens to be studying her master's degree there. So shout out to Hun. Looking forward to seeing you. And hopefully doing a walk and talk with her, now that she's getting her master's degree after having graduated from the digital media program and also TAing for the program. I think she will come back to be an excellent teacher one day. And she also was a student in the Write and Eat script writing workshops that I ran with Suisan, who is a Singaporean screenwriter and also lecturer. So looking forward to seeing her, but also potentially seeing Suisan, who has gone through some health issues, and hopefully she's recovering from that. So hopefully being able to see her when I come to Singapore. The other alumni that will be there is Thom, Đào Xuân Thom, or Thompson, graduate of the digital film and video program. And one of the film screening there is a film that he directed during his internship, during his digital film and video internship. So that was a very exciting internship, to be able to get the opportunity to direct a short film and then now having it showcased in a short film showcase in Southeast Asia. So looking forward to seeing him and maybe doing a walk and talk with Thompson as well, and to catch up with him, because it's always, I think as an educator, it's always nice to see your former students go out to the world and be successful, and just to follow their careers and root for them, and their success are my successes. So it will be a lot of fun. And then just talking about screenwriting on the screenwriting panel. So the state of screenwriting and storytelling and filmmaking in Vietnam, and how there's a need for more Vietnamese storytellers. So I'll be sharing about that, and also maybe share a little bit about my research in screenwriting as I look to complete my PhD in screenwriting and hopefully bring new knowledge to the craft of screenwriting. And then just watching a lot of good short films and asking questions and meeting with the filmmakers, and also meeting with producers who are going to be there for the producing workshop. So this industry is all about what can you do, the stories that you can tell, and obviously the network, the people that you meet who can help you realize some of the stories that you've written and that you want to tell. And hopefully through this symbiosis, then you can put out a film that then resonates with local and international audiences, right? And move people, and maybe motivate people to approach life differently, look at life differently, appreciate something, learn something about themselves, and grow. Or just be flat out entertained. There's nothing wrong with that. We all need to be scared. We all need to cry. We all need to laugh and be entertained. So at the end of the day, we all need to live. Okay, so I'll call this the end of my walk and talk. So please continue to come out and support my channel, Old Dad Discovers. And I'll bring you some hopefully awesome content from the film showcase and interviews of my former students and also the people who are involved with the storytellers of the Mekong, the Write and Eat community, which I'm a part of as the Vietnam rep, where we're really putting in our time to help develop young voices and new voices. I wouldn't say all young, because there are some older people who have stories to tell and have joined our free online script writing workshops through Write and Eat. So we're here to develop new voices in Southeast Asia and hopefully help these stories turn into films, and that these films go out and touch people and bring cultures together. So a lot of fantastic people involved in this community building effort, and we hope to continue to grow and get your support. Okay? So again, I'll sign off and I'll see you next time from Singapore. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Old Dad Discovers.